I'm going to go ahead and start cleaning out this the big fish tank. Got the little one all finished up. Going to do the same process with the big fish tank, except this one I get to use the pump to suck the water out, drain the dirty water out, and put in clean water. And I'll only be taking out a quarter of the water on this one. I'm going to start off the same way as I do with the little one. I'm just going to take a little bit of this water here, put it into a 5-gallon tote, and use a little net to scoop up the old food. And I'll show you more after that. And this is all the nasty fish food, the old fish food that I fed the fish. Put it all into this tote. I'm going to toss that out. I've got most of the fish food off the bottom. And now I'm just going to use my hand and clean off the glass. I'm just going to scrub off all the sides and the bottom with my hand, just like this. So today I am going to be checking the filters out inside this, kind of rinsing them out. So to do that, I have to drain the water out of this because this is completely full of water. And just following the instructions on this, it says to turn the in and out valves in sequence to the closed position. So in and out in sequence to the closed position. Unplug the pump from the electrical power supply. And then I'm going to remove the utility hose from the clip. I'm going to put this into the bucket. I'm going to open up this valve. And then I'm going to disconnect this. There's a little red button right here. And the water is going to start pouring out of that. Now that I've drained all the water from this, I can go ahead and take the filters out. So you just unscrew these, and they just pop over to the sides like that. Once you've unscrewed all of these, the top comes off. There's 2 handles. You pick it up and you set it out, and you use some dirty fish water to clean the filters with. And I'll go ahead and be doing that right now. I've taken the filters out, and I've got some dechlorinated water here. I am just going to put some of this dechlorinated water into this and rinse this out. And I'll also use that dechlorinated water to rinse out the filters. Now I'm going to take these filters out of here and put them in some dechlorinated water, and I'm going to rinse those out as well. So this is the water, the dechlorinated water that I used to rinse out the filters in, and I'm gonna dump that out, throw that out, and put the filter back together, put the pump back together, and get it all started again. I have my canister filter all put back together, and now I'm just gonna put about 1.5 gallons of water back into the canister before I close it up, and it just needs 1.5 gallons of dechlorinated water in there to help to get it going. So I'm filling up this 5-gallon tote, gonna add my dechlorinator in there, wait 5 minutes, add about 1.5 gallons back in there, and then I will get that pump started back up. Got my dechlorinated water over here, and I'm just gonna take 1.5 gallons or so and refill up my pump. The filters have all been cleaned in dechlorinated water. Put everything back in. So I'm just gonna pour some water back in here. Once I add 1.5 gallons of water back in there, I'm gonna close it all up and get it started again. All right, one thing that I would like to remind everybody is that before you put the water back in, make sure you close this valve. I accidentally left that valve open, poured the water in there, and it all came out this hose all over my floor. So 1.5 gallons of water out on my floor, but I got that all mopped up, got this all back together, got more water, got 1.5 gallons more water in there, got that closed. Now I'm just gonna reopen these, and then I'm gonna plug it back in. All right, I've waited it's about 3 minutes for the cycle to start filling up the pump and making sure that all the air's been let out of the pump and everything after you plug it in. So I've waited that 3 minutes, and now it's time to start draining some of this water. And I'm just gonna drain about 1/4 of the water out, and then put about, it's about 10 gallons I'm gonna take out, about 10 gallons I'm gonna put back in. So I'm gonna go ahead and start taking out 1/4 of the water out of this, about 10 gallons. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this hose, put it into a 5-gallon tote. I'm gonna close the out, and then I'm gonna open this valve here, which is gonna put water from the tank into the tote. I'm gonna fill up the tote, close that valve off, dump the water out, throw it out, and then I'm gonna get another 5-gallon tote. So in total, I'll have 2 of these 5-gallon totes dumped out, and then I'll start putting in some clean water. I have taken out 10 gallons of water out of my 55-gallon tank, and I'm just gonna go ahead and reopen the out valve so that the water will come back out through the pump again. And now I'm just gonna fill up 10 gallons worth of tap water, add some dechlorinator, and use this hose to suck the water from the 5-gallon totes back into the tank and fill it all the way up to the top with some clean water. I'm just using a garden hose hooked up to my sink. Got a little adapter to hook it up to my sink, and I'm just using that garden hose to fill up this 5-gallon tote with some water, some tap water. And I'm going to add my dechlorinator, my water conditioner, which is about 2.5 milliliters. And this is 78 degree or 75 degree warm water. Using a little bit of hot, a little bit of cold, kind of mixing it up with the tap water so that it'll be a little bit warm for them. Fish like it at about 75, goldfish do anyways, 72, something like that. So about as warm as you keep it in your house. And I'm gonna put the water conditioner in, and then I'm gonna put it back into the fish tank. Okay, going to be adding about 2.5 milliliters of water conditioner to 5 gallons of tap water. Yeah, that's about 2.5 milliliters. I'm gonna add that to the water, mix it up, and I'm gonna wait 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna be able to put this back into the fish tank. I have a 5-gallon soda water here, tap water, that I put the water conditioner in and let it wait 5 minutes so that there's no chlorine in that water. So now it's time to add the water back into the fish tank. So I'm going to take this hose from here and put it into the water. And then I'm going to close the in. And I'm going to open this. And that's going to suck the water from there and put it back into the fish tank. And I do that with 2 totes of water. That'll be about 10 gallons, maybe a little bit more that I'll have to add, and then I'll fill this all the way up to the top. Got my first 5-gallon tote of water put into the back into the fish tank. Gonna just fill this up with some tap water. Gonna add some dechlorinator to this. This water's a nice like 72, 73 degrees. Gonna let this water sit for 5 minutes with the dechlorinator in it, and then I am going to add that water to it, and it'll be just about filled back up. I have this 5-gallon tote of water, put the dechlorinator in it, sat for 5 minutes. I've already put one 5-gallon tote back in. I'm putting in a second 5-gallon tote, which will almost fill it all the way up. Gonna go ahead and do it one more time just to top it off. So I'm just gonna take this hose off of here, put it into this bucket, close the in, and open this. And that's gonna suck the water from here, put it back into the fish tank. Once I'm done doing that, I'll fill up one more tote, put the dechlorinator in there, and then just top it off with the last little bit. I've got most of this tank filled up. So right now I'm just gonna be topping it off, filling up this 5-gallon tote with some 72-degree water. I'm gonna add my 2.5 milliliters of conditioner to get the chlorine out of the water. And then I'm gonna use the pump to suck maybe a gallon or so back into the tank so that we top it off and it's totally full. Just topping off the last little bit of water here. Got my 5-gallon tote filled up with water. I'm gonna add my 2.5 milliliters of water conditioner in there. Yep, that's about 2.5 milliliters right there. Pour that in there. Clean off the cap, mix it up. Wait 5 minutes, and then I'm going to add about a gallon or so of this water back into the fish tank and just top it off, finish filling up the tank. Just filling up the last little bit of water here. I've already added 10 gallons in, taking 10 gallons out. So I have a 5-gallon tote full of tap water, about 72. I've already mixed in the water conditioner, let it sit for 5 minutes. So I'm just going to take this, put it into the water, close the end, and open this. That's going to suck the water from here, put it back into the fish tank, and I'm just going to wait until it's all the way full, and then I'm going to close this valve down here, reopen this valve up here, and that will allow the water to cycle through.